Ilara Wynne had learned a long time ago that companies weren't built on loyalty. They were built on leverage. She kept her head down, worked harder than anyone else in the department, and swallowed every insult her boss threw at her. But even she didn't expect today to be the day everything finally snapped. She stood in front of Austin Drake's massive glass desk, fingers clenched around the stack of documents she'd stayed up 3 nights finishing. The CEO sat lounging back in his leather chair, expensive suit perfect, expression cut from ice. Austin was the kind of man who didn't have to raise his voice to command an entire floor. Cold, sharp, impossible to impress. And for months, he had treated Ilara like a mere shadow in his empire. Today, she no longer intended to be invisible. "I told you I needed these last week," he said without looking up, flipping through the papers as if they were trash. "You're behind, as usual." Her jaw tightened. "I wasn't behind. You changed the metrics after I submitted the first version. I worked overtime." "That sounds like your problem," he interrupted. No apology, no acknowledgement. Just the tone of a man who believed the world existed to serve him. Ilara swallowed her anger. "I did the work. You'll find everything aligned this time." Austin finally lifted his gaze. His dark eyes held nothing but impatience. "If it's wrong again, you know what happens." She had heard the threat enough times. "You think I enjoy repeating myself?" he asked, standing abruptly. "You think I like chasing after employees who can't keep up?" She held her breath. If she spoke now, she would say something she couldn't take back. But Austin wasn't finished. "You're sloppy, emotional, and entirely replaceable." He stabbed a finger toward the door. "Get out of my office before I say something you'll regret." Her heart ricocheted painfully. Replaceable. After everything. After all the nights she stayed behind while everyone else went home. After all the times she covered for mistakes other people made. After all the trust she had foolishly placed in a company that saw her as disposable. But she didn't move. She didn't leave. Because she hadn't come here just to hand him numbers. She had come to tell him the truth. "Austin," she said quietly, "I'm not leaving." His head snapped up. Surprise flickered across his face, quickly replaced by anger. "Excuse me?" She stepped forward, steadying her breath. "I'm not leaving until you hear what I have to say." He laughed, a cold, humorless sound. "This should be good." "Your plan to cut the research division," she said, "is a mistake. Not your concern." "It is," she replied firmly. "Because I know why you're doing it." His expression hardened. "You know nothing. I know you're selling off assets to cover the deficit left by your brothers, illegal investments." Austin's eyes widened barely, but enough for her to see she'd hit the target dead on. "How did you—" "I'm not done," she said, voice steady, despite the fear curling in her stomach. "I know you forged the board approval for the restructuring, and I know you planned to blame the entire fallout on the research director so you could walk away clean." He stared at her like she had suddenly become dangerous. "Ilara," he said slowly, "I don't know who you think you are, but this conversation ends now." "No," she whispered, "it begins now." She placed a flash drive on his desk. Austin didn't pick it up. "What is that?" he demanded. "Proof," she said. "Transactions, emails, internal approvals, everything you've been hiding, everything you thought no one would ever find." His jaw tensed. "You hacked my files." "I audited company systems," she corrected. "Something you authorized last quarter. You just didn't expect your own data to show up." His breath came in shallow, controlled bursts, anger mixing with something far darker. She pressed on. You were going to fire me. I know that. You've been setting it up for months. Making me look incompetent, unsteady, distracted. She exhaled softly. I was easy to target, quiet, alone. Austin's eyes flicked away, guilt or calculation. She couldn't tell. But you made one mistake, she continued. You underestimated me. Silence, heavy, electric. Austin slowly rounded the desk until he stood just inches from her. He wasn't yelling anymore. He didn't need to. His power radiated through the room like heat. You think you can walk in here, he said quietly, and threaten me? I'm not threatening you, Alara replied. I'm telling you what I know. And what? He sneered. You plan to blackmail me? No, she said. I plan to stop you. He stepped even closer, towering over her. You have no idea who you're dealing with. She held his gaze. Neither do you. For the first time, something in Austin cracked not anger, but fear wrapped in disbelief, because he realized she wasn't bluffing. Alara took a slow breath, letting the weight of the next sentence settle. I'm submitting this to the board tomorrow morning, unless... His eyes narrowed. Unless what? Her heartbeat thundered. Unless you sit down, she said softly, and hear the rest of what I found. Austin swallowed hard. There's more? Yes. Her voice trembled only slightly. Much more, and if you don't listen, your entire plan collapses before you even get the chance to defend yourself. Austin stared at her, the woman he dismissed, the employee he belittled, the quiet presence he never imagined could stand against him. And suddenly, for the first time since she'd met him, Austin Drake looked genuinely, unbearably shaken. Austin didn't move. He stood there, breathing unevenly, the weight of her words settling into him like gravity he'd never felt before. He had always believed he saw everything, every angle, every flaw, every threat, long before it reached his door. Yet here she was, the quiet employee he'd walked past 100 times, holding the one truth powerful enough to break him. Sit down, she said softly. For a moment, he didn't. Austin Drake didn't take orders from anyone. But then, slowly, he sat. Alara stepped forward and placed a second folder on the desk. He stared at it like it might explode. What is this? The part you didn't see, she said. The part someone hid from you. He frowned. What are you talking about? She opened the folder. Inside were documents, financial ones he recognized, and others he didn't. And then, a name. Austin's breath caught. You thought your brother caused the deficit, she said. You thought he was the reason you had to sell off departments, shift budgets, and cover losses. He was, Austin snapped. I've spent months cleaning up his mess. Alara shook her head. No, he didn't steal from the company. Austin froze. What? He discovered someone else was. He traced the transactions to a shell entity. He tried to bring the proof to you, but before he could, someone staged those false transfers under his name. Austin stared at her, stunned. Why didn't he tell me? He tried, she whispered. 3 times. Each time, someone intercepted the emails before they reached you. His jaw clenched. Who? She met his eyes. Your CFO. The room went silent. Austin blinked slowly, like his brain was fighting to reorder everything he believed. That's impossible. He's been with me for 10 years. And you trusted him, she said gently. That's why no one suspected him, including me, at first. Austin looked down at the folder, seeing the patterns, the signatures, the hidden accounts. His hands trembled once, barely noticeable, but unmistakable. All this time, he whispered, I blamed my brother. You pushed him out of the company, Alara finished quietly, and the CFO made sure you did. Austin sat back in his chair, shoulders collapsing under the weight of realization. For the first time since she'd met him, he didn't look powerful. He looked wounded. Alara, he said, voice low and rough, why did you bring this to me? After everything I've said to you, after how I treated you, why not just walk away and let me fail? She looked at him for a long moment. Then she said the one thing that undid him completely, because I believe in the man you were supposed to be. His chest tightened painfully. And who is that? A man who deserved the truth, she whispered, not the lie you were forced to live. Austin closed his eyes, inhaling, slowly, as if trying to steady himself. When he opened them again, something inside him had shifted, something sharp and guarded, giving way to something real. Alara, his voice softened in a way she had never heard. I was wrong about you, she swallowed. I know. I was cruel, he said. I pushed you, dismissed you, used you as a shield, because I didn't trust anyone else. And now, she asked. He rose slowly, walking around the desk until he stood in front of her closer than ever, close enough to see the fear, the strength, the fire she never let him see before. Now, he said quietly, I'm asking you to stay, not as an employee, not as someone I can control. His voice shook. As the person who just saved my entire life, her breath hitched. Will you? He asked. Stay? Alara held his gaze steady, unafraid. Yes, she whispered, but this time we face everything together. Austin exhaled shakily, relief washing through him. Together, he repeated. And for the first time since he became CEO, since he built an empire on fear and precision, Austin Drake felt something unfamiliar. Hope.